Who's paying? Who's pushing back? What the heck is going on? Why are we in this situation? Why are we in a situation where we need to pay? What is going on? That is the question, right? So essentially what you have is this. Trump is having a great time. I want you to use this channel. I want you to join this channel in order for you to understand what are the risks in the economy and what are the risks in the market. Because right now, hey, Jaylee, what's happening? Because right now, believe it or not, where do you get your information from? You get your information from, frankly, outlets. Pat, how you doing? Outlets that are telling you what you want to hear, right? You can't do that. You have to listen to this channel in order for you to understand the risk that are going on right now. And what are that's what we call black swan, right? The reason I'm calling it black swan is because these, and it's not me calling it, it's a very famous word, something that no one is expecting. You don't expect these things. Like what? Well, COVID, right? You didn't think that this was going to happen. The tariffs. You actually thought he was going to tariff 190 countries. When he said he was going to do it, he said, I'm going to tax it. Yeah, you're going to tariff. Yeah, you're NAFTA, right? You're going to sit down, you're going to talk, and it's going to make a year, right? You mean all at the same time? Guy's crazy. No, the guy's not crazy. The guy is not crazy. The guy is systematic. He is a machine. He's a machine. And he doesn't care about anything but the thing that needs to get done. Now, of course, if it favors you, it's great. Like right now, the US is collecting billions and billions and billions of money in tariffs. And what are the other countries doing? They have no choice. They have no choice. You want to deal with the US or you want to deal away from the US? Yeah, you need the US to keep going for now. For now. And this is kind of where you have BRICS, you know, Brazil, Ethiopia, Iran, believe it or not, and India. They're getting together and they're saying, well, we don't want to bother you. We don't want to bother you, but I just want to let you know that maybe you guys are pushing a little too much. You know, I mean, what about us? What about us? You know, because when there was the war with Russia, right, and Ukraine, you weaponized the dollar. You weaponized the dollar, meaning that if you don't have if you took Russia out of the system, out of the SWIFT system, out of the foreign exchange, right? You can't deal. You're not allowed to deal in dollars. So how do you deal? How do you buy anything if you can't have the dollar? Because the dollar is a reserve currency, believe it or not. And what does that mean? It means that you need the dollar to buy anything, right? Go in the middle of anywhere and try to buy something without a dollar. Do you think they're going to sell it to you? Why do you think these countries are dealing with the US right now? They're dealing with the US right now because they are basically, literally what they're doing, right? They're sending stuff over, cars, shoes, or whatever. And what do they get in return? Food? No, they get a piece of paper. They get a piece of paper. And that piece of paper, it says dollar, because they know that if they take that same piece of paper and they go to another country, that country will give them whatever they want as long as they give the dollar over. That is a huge amount of power that is held by the US because it is a reserve currency. That power alone is tremendous. And for the first time, well, it was used in the 70s when we took off the dollar was taken off the gold standards. You didn't need gold to sustain it. But now Trump is pushing it again. You see, the last time that happened was with Biden when he said basically, Russia, you're out. Just like that. Now the US is pushing and is saying, if you don't deal with me, if you don't give me 25%, then I'm not buying your stuff. And that, believe it or not, is a problem, right? That, my friend, is something that you want to make sure that you are totally under control, okay? So, what is the end result? What is the bottom line? What is the bottom line for those tariffs? Well, the bottom line is this. The US is collecting. Thank you very much. Don't forget to join the channel. The other bottom line is this. You have not seen what's happening in the background. You don't really know what these people are thinking. They're thinking, well, can we really afford to pay 25% more? Yes or no? No. Okay, well then, then we're gonna have to pass the cost over to the US. If you do that, that's not gonna be good either, because Trump is watching that, obviously. So what do you want from us? Well, you just need to make less money. But that's gonna take forever. Or what you can do is that you simply need to move your factory over into the US. But when they're saying that, right, moving the factories over into the US so we could start making stuff in the US again, they're not really serious. And this is why you need to be careful when you listen to what people are telling you. You need to look at it at like a three-dimensional chess. And if you have a business, that's how you should run it as well, right? They don't really mean that. Well, what does that mean, start building this, come over and build in the US? So you're a wine merchant, you're going to plant your vines and you're going to plant them in the US and California and start making French wines here, right? It doesn't work that way, right? So what does they mean? They don't mean anything by it. This is just a story that they're telling you so that you could understand better, right? That, oh, okay, the reason I'm taxing these people because we want them to make it here. But make it here how? How long is it going to take for them to decide, agree, move, transplant everything? No. They know very well that's not possible, but they do know. They do know the moment they charge 25 to 30%, they know that they're going to collect that money. That they know, right? Right now, almost 16 letters went out to, I think it's like 12 countries, right? Between 25 and 40%. These people don't know what's going to hit them until they get the letter. It's a letter. In fact, if you go on, it's amazing. You could see the letter on social media in X. I mean, in his own social media. He has his own social media. Imagine. So, and it's posted there. He shows you exactly what the bill is going to be, what he's going to charge you, and he sent it to everyone. Usually, these type of things are never told. They understood, and they negotiated behind closed doors. He's negotiating in the open. There's no way out. Why? Because he's a public persona. That's how he deals. That's how he's able to move. He's able to move around. That's how he got elected the first time. Right? He's able to manipulate and brilliant way, I have to say, the way he did it. Because you're focused on, oh, are they going to move in? They're not going to move in. Is it going to be 25? Is it going to be 40? Meanwhile, he's collecting. Boom, 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 boom. And the longer it lasts, the better off he's going to be. Now, obviously, he's got to put some deadline because they're going to say, but you said July 9th, and it's not July 9th. It's August 1st now. What are you doing? You're confusing everyone. No, I'm not confusing everyone. I'm just collecting my money. I'm just postponing, but I'm still collecting. And that's the idea. The idea is to make money. All of this, you need to understand this principle. That's what governs all of these things. The point is that everyone is trying to make money. Of course, they say, yeah, of course everybody's trying to make money. No, not of course. Because most of the time, the story that they weave is around, conceptual ideas. For example, I want to move all the businesses into the US. Iran wants to build a nuclear bomb. No. Iran or the mullahs, they want to make $2 trillion so that they could say they're going to be making this thing, and they're probably never going to use it because they could never use it. Tesla, Elon Musk is not. He's going to create a party, and he can't focus on this company. No, what can he do two things at once? The guy is smart enough, and he's not out there he's not on the factory floor making Teslas. And he said, "Oh, let me stop making the Teslas and let me create my own party." Oh, that is wrong. No, these are stories for you to get you off the ball. What you need to understand is what is exactly the value of Tesla. What you should know is that Tesla at 150 PE is extremely highly valued. Okay, so back to the tariffs. The tariffs are going to be applied mostly to the people that are, of course, there's a friendship element here, right? Everybody made fun of the UK when they came over, and he was groveling all over Trump, and meanwhile he got himself 10%. Okay, China 50%. Canada, I don't know. Forget Canada. Canada is in big trouble because they disagreed with him. Now, the thing is, if you're going to disagree with Trump, you have to understand, do you really need him? Because if you think that you're going to make a grandstanding like the Prime Minister of Canada did, and he said, "I am not going to deal with this, elect me, I'm going to be tough against them," he turned around and he said to Trump, "You know what, I'm going to charge your tech companies extra." Trump says, then I'm going to charge you 50%. The thing you cannot deal. Why? Because Canada is highly dependent in the US. Canada is having a lot of issues right now. Canada is having a reduction in the amount of production that they have. So that is not good. That is not, Canada is suffering right now. Of course, Canadians say, "You know what? I'm not coming to the US." The amount of traveling, and you could check it, is down almost 80% of Canadian people coming to the US. I mean, it's a sad thing. If you're Trump, okay, sorry you don't come here, but it's not going to kill me. But on the other hand, if you cannot deal with the US and you're not buying from the US, that's going to hurt you a lot more. That's going to hurt him. Now, of course, Trump is literally throwing his weight around. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel, because what I do for you every day is I look for the things that are going to go bad. I'm looking for the black swan. A black swan is an event that no one sees coming and yet will impact everyone, such as COVID-19. Can you make money out of a black swan? You bet you do. Universal, which is a hedge fund with Spitznagel and Taleb Nassim, look at all these names. They made 4,000% out of COVID. So I think they got it right somehow. I think they did the right thing. I think that they realize that once you understand the risk in any kind of situation, then you're able to profit from it. What is the risk right now that we have? Well, as far as the tariffs are concerned, it's not going to come through for what? As far as the stock market is concerned. Now, if you have a job, working for a company that imports a lot of stuff from overseas, I'll be concerned, because it's going to have to squeeze somewhere, right? They are being charged extra. It's not a fake. Even though they didn't agree, they didn't sign, Trump has the ability to say, "That's it, that's executive order, I'm collecting 25%. Now, the thing is, in the stock market though, the stock market is going to do quite well, thank you very much. Why the market going to do well? Because it's already assuming that the Fed chair is out. When Trump was saying, "I want 2 Fed chairs," they say, "What are you doing? You're confusing everyone." No, there's already 2 Fed chairs. And I think that Bassett, the current Treasury Secretary, the Secretary of the Treasury, is going to be the next Fed chair. You could see his demeanor, the way he talks. He says, "Whatever Trump wants me to do, I'll do." Okay? But because they're already assuming this, what the market is saying, then rates are going to go down. And if on top of that, if Powell is going to lower rates, which I don't think he's going to do that, inflation is not totally tame, it doesn't matter because next year the Fed is going to lower those rates. The new Fed, he has to. Wherever he's going to get is going to lower the rates. And don't forget also, every day in the US, right, as opposed to other countries, all the money that's going into 401ks, right, every year, every month, the money is going in, right, it's got to find a home. So the market can only go up unless there's a black swan, unless there is something that he did not see coming, unless there's uncertainty. Don't forget to join this channel. I have invested, I have taught, I have bought, and I have sold. And I know what's involved. The reason you should listen to me is because if you listen to CNBC, which you can, if you listen to Bloomberg, you can. The thing with Bloomberg and these channels, they have a bent, right? I mean, Bloomberg, don't forget, he wanted to be president at one point, right? And he wanted to be a Democrat. So obviously, you could see when they talk about what Trump is doing, you could see that they're oozing of, oh, wow, look what he's doing of that. I'm not saying that I'm for Trump or against Trump. I'm just saying that's what they do, okay? So you need, and this is where social media is a great way because you hear what people are really thinking about. Not the, because they don't forget, not only they have a bent, then they have sponsors, right? They can't just say things the way I'm saying it because they have sponsors. Sponsors go, well, you can't say things like that. I'm not going to give you money for that. Because at the end of the day, you want to get paid. You want to make money doing your business of delivering the news. Right? Now, of course, I understand. I mean, it's tough to deliver the news to 12 million people every day. I mean, you need some kind of organization. But the point is now you are able to have access. Check everything that I'm saying and you will see that it is correct. But I'm not here to report the news because you get that all day long. I am here to explain to you what is going on. That's what I'm really doing. And what's really going on is that they are making money. Like, for example, the Big Beautiful Bill. What's going on with the Big Beautiful Bill, which I did a video not too long ago? Well, frankly, the Big Beautiful Bill, don't forget, none of the senators and on both sides, and also the representative really read the bill. You're going to read 640 pages? You're going to spend 16 hours reading it? No, they didn't read the bill. They kind of have the idea of what's in it, and they voted it. Imagine what it would take: 100 senators, 345 representatives to read 640 pages, and changes back and forth, back and forth. It's a little bit of I wouldn't call it a farce, but it is a fait accompli. It's something that was going to happen regardless, and they knew it. Okay, why? Because at the end of the day, what we're doing is we don't want to raise taxes. That was the idea, right? Because if you don't vote for it, then the taxes go back up. I mean, there's more taxes because that's the way this thing was written to begin with. So in the process, and this is what pissed off somebody upset someone like Elon Musk because he's saying, but I thought we were trying to save some money. Donald, we did the Doge thing. It sounded so great. I took the chainsaw and I was cutting the cost. And isn't that what we're doing? Isn't that the story? That's why Elon Musk is so naive. That was a story at the time. Right? That was a story as long as you could deliver some money, but you weren't really delivering any money to talk about because see how much money Doge actually saved, how much money, how much cash I'm talking about. While at the end, the tariffs are bringing cash. So Trump is saying, the Doge thing is not a problem, and so is the tariffs. But with the Doge, we're not seeing it. We're not really seeing it yet. Okay? And it's taking too long, and you're upsetting people. Well, the tariffs, money is coming in. And on top of that, you need to know the backstory is that who's behind the tariffs? Pete Navarro. The dry, old-looking guy, military kind of guy. This guy, believe it or not, went to jail for Donald Trump. He went to jail check him out, Pete Navarro. He went 4 months in jail because of the January 6th, January 6th situation. I forgot the detail, but he didn't want to talk, basically. So he went to jail. Trump doesn't forget that. Trump did not forget, and he said, here's a guy for me. Well, Musk, well, I mean, you did give me $300 million, so I'm going to give you a little bit of leeway here. But that's it, you're done. And Musk now, unfortunately, he can't take no for an answer. And he keeps going, and I'm going to create a party. I'm going to be the next Donald Trump. No, you can't, because you are a very smart guy. You focus on efficiencies, and so the political party is not going to go anywhere. He doesn't have the time. And if he does go anywhere, he's going to be in big trouble. Do you know why? Because look what's happening to the stock. That's the story right there. The story is, you spend time away from the office, we're going to hit your stock. It doesn't matter if you're actually really spending time away from the office, or if you're actually spending time on it doesn't matter. The point, that's the story that's being sold. Now, you don't care if you're worth $20 billion, but if you have a fund and you have a responsibility to shareholders, you're going to say, listen, we can't have you doing that. Then you know what? You're not really helping anymore anyway, because your name is now associated with all these stupid things. So that's not going to work. In addition to that, where Elon Musk, who needs China very much needs China, is losing China. Now, what do you mean losing China? Well, because don't forget, China was dealing through the U.S. through Elon Musk, because it was involved in doing business with them in China, but also it's a way to talk to the U.S. But now that he's becoming toxic, they don't want to deal with him. They don't want to talk to him. So if Elon Musk, as smart as he is, loses its way, I think he lost his way when he went the first time on Donald Trump's bandwagon. But Donald Trump is a public figure. He is very good. He had a show on TV, right? He was successful. Why? Because he told you what you wanted to hear, and he knew exactly how to communicate with the people. Do not forget to subscribe to this channel. I am giving you unbiased view. And what am I looking for? I am looking for risks in the market and in the economy. Now, of course, we're going to say, well, this is great then. Everything is fantastic, right? Trump has won. Well, just one thing, though. One thing that you need to worry about. For the long term, I mean, Trump doesn't have a show anymore, right? Trump doesn't have any more casinos anymore, right? Over the long term, you need to be careful that this does not get out of hand. How is it going to get out of hand? It's very simple. You keep poking these countries, and that's a lot of them, forcing them at humongous amount of tariffs to the point where it's not worth make money, to the point where you're sending them into a recession. What are they going to do? They're going to work with each other. They're going to deal with each other. They're going to work. They're going to make their own business. They're going to sell to each other, right? China is going to sell to France. France is going to sell to China. And what about the U.S.? Well, exactly. What about the U.S.? So, yes, it works right now. Yes, you're pushing, you're tugging, you're collecting. But what happened when they say, it's enough? We won't do. Don't forget, in around China, India, Thailand, right, these countries, it's about 10% of the world mass, but they have 50% of the population. So technically, they do not need the US. The problem is that their system of government is a bit funky to deal with, and it's not always easy. The US is straightforward, right? You come in, you're safe, everything is okay, everything is written, the laws of the land are very good. So it's very easy for these companies to actually do business with the US. Doing business with other countries, even Europe, quite frankly, I mean, I was there not too long ago at a conference, a bit of a mess. I mean, it's not unsafe, it's not illegal, but it's a mess. They have difficulties, operating and look at this. They went in Europe, in France, they went on strike. All the airline, 25% airline controllers went on strike the day of when people started going on holiday. How do you get away with something like that? And what do they want? More money. Otherwise, you're not flying anywhere. How you get away with something like that? How could you do business like that, right? So, and that's why the U.S. still has a strong grain, a strong ability to maintain order, a strong ability to make money, and this is what Trump is banking on. I mean, and he's not the first one. Don't just say, oh, because it's Trump, he's a bully. No, 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 no. Wasn't Biden a bully when he told Ukraine, you know what, you're not going to be in the U.S. system anymore because we control the dollar. You're out. You're out of the SWIFT system. You're out of the foreign exchange. You're out. You can't deal with dollars anymore. You want to buy oil, sell rubles well, they don't buy oil. They sell oil. You want to buy food, then sell your oil. Give the oil, and we give you the. You know what I mean? It's almost literally barter. So, and forget Biden, go back in the 70s. Look at Nixon. What did Nixon do? Nixon said to the world, because after World War II, the dollar was backed by gold, right? And they said, you know what? Not backed by gold anymore. You mean what? We're just taking a piece of paper? That's right. You're going to take a piece of paper. I'm going to give you a good. You're going to take a piece of paper. But it's just a piece of paper. Yeah. But it's a dollar, and a dollar is worth a lot because it is a reserve currency. And the world at that time, you probably don't remember that, but it was, oh my God, what did he do? And it worked. It worked. The dollar continued to be, well, this is where the dollar really became a reserve currency, because all you need to do is a piece of paper. If you're dealing with the US dollar every day, you don't realize the power of it. You don't realize that without that dollar, not many things get done, right? They're literally sending you gold and precious metals and cars, and all you give them a piece of paper. Because they know, obviously, they're not going to eat with a piece of paper, but they know they could take that piece of paper somewhere else and they could feed themselves, buy something, and it's worth it. How many currencies can you do that with? Can you do that with a ruble? Really? Not really. Not many people take the ruble. Remember the Chinese currency? No. And that's why Trump knows it. He knows very well. And he says, you know what? You want to deal with the US, then you're going to pay for the privilege of trading with the US. You're going to pay. And I think that he sent letters to 12 countries between 25 and 40%. 40%. And don't forget, keep that cost on your side. Don't bring it to me. How much is he going to push? He's going to push until he can't push. But right now, it's working just fine. Thank you very much. The U.S. is going to be collecting between 150 to 200 billion cash. It's already collecting right now. So it is working. You cannot say that, oh, it's not working. It is working. The U.S. So whatever thing that you could think about Donald Trump and that, don't forget, stop the war in Iran. Now, of course, is it going to be really stopped? That's a set. You have to think long term. Don't forget, a couple of days ago, Israel actually bombed a few U-2's position. There's a few things going on down there, right? There's a few things happening. And it's just a matter of time before Trump decides that, you know what, it's time to get back into Iran because they have that 800 pounds of uranium that's running around. Everybody's making fun at me that I did not finish the job. So I'm going to go in there and I'm going to show it to them where it is, and let's start all over again. So you can't do that. What do you mean? What do you mean I can't do that? I charged 25%, 50%. What do you mean? I got the bill passed. The Supreme Court has told me that I am in the right? I stopped war in Iran, Israel, right? I just bombed and that was it. It's over. These people in NATO calling me daddy at 5%. The thing is, unfortunately for Trump, he's running out of time. Like everyone else. He's running out of time. It must be sad in a way because he finally at that level, right? He's almost a king. Well, I won't call it a king, but and I believe that deep down, he really wants the U.S. to be the U.S. He's running out of time. And that's the only issue that you have to worry about, right? Because what events lately? No? Well, the reason why you're not hearing from him is because he kind of disagreed with him at the moment when Trump wanted him the most. What do I mean? I mean that he told him during the, you remember this thing with Iran? He said, well, maybe it's not totally destroyed. There's this document going around saying that that it's not destroyed. And we know it's not destroyed. Come on, I mean, we don't know. Don't forget to join the channel. Don't forget to join the channel because I will tell you all that is going on from my perspective. And I've got a perspective. I go all over the place, see the world, understand what is happening. So with Vance, you're not going to see him. So who else? Marco Rubio, potentially. Little Marco. Okay. And who else? That's what you have to worry about, right? Because when the new guy comes in, these countries are going to say, okay, now we're back to where, let's hit the US all over. You know what I mean? That is what you need to worry about. Because Trump, and I'm going to do a video on that tomorrow, Trump is basically was able to create the market and say, you know what? I like this guy. He's getting things done. Things are happening with Trump. Things are working. I like it, and it's going to keep going. The market is up. Now, of course, be careful. When we say that the market is up, we have to realize one thing. You have to realize that it is risky. You can't drop like that and be back up and say, well, the market is up. Yeah, but we took a huge amount of risk here. So I'm not so sure if this is a good thing or a bad thing. The point is, it is a situation that we're in. It is a risk that we're taking, and we need to make sure we understand the risk that we're taking with stock market, right? I mean, what do you think what do you think the market in the US and Europe is going up? It's not so much because the market is great in Europe. No, it's because the money went over there. That's different, right? It's not like there's value in Europe as much as they say, you know, I don't know what this guy's doing. Let's move it. Now, of course, they might say, you know what? He's doing the right thing. It's working. The problem is he's running out of time. So be careful. I mean, 1 year maybe, yeah, the market could go up for another year. Don't worry about don't worry about the fact that we're going to have a huge problem with the debt and the 37 trillion. That's the story they tell you. The real story is, so what? So what? The dollar is a reserve currency. So you need, as a reserve currency, you need dollars to be running around, right? And the money needs to be created somehow. So we need dollars. Otherwise, nothing gets done in the world. So they're not going to, the US is not going to go bankrupt. Now, later on, whatever later on is, well, that's a possibility. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel, but also take a look at my Patreon channel. It's free. Okay? Because there I actually give you trades. One thing that we'll talk about later this week is, okay, so fine, about all that. How do we make money? Well, right now you may want to take a look at small company stocks. Nobody's looking at these things. Why? Because that's not the story. The story is NVIDIA all over again, or Tesla. There's more to it than that. You need to buy, you need to make money. The way you make money is you buy when everyone is selling. That's difficult, right? How do you think you get here? How do you get a place like this? By buying when everybody else is buying? No, you buy when everybody is selling. And you sell when everybody else is buying. So right now, everybody's buying the stock market. That's true. But nobody is buying the small company stocks. And that, I believe, my friends, I believe that that's where the opportunity is. I believe that this is where the action is going to be. And I will do a live in a couple of days after I do that live on what's going on with the mentality with Trump. But back to the tariffs, remember, 190 countries have been taxed across the board. And August 1st, he's not postponing. What he's saying basically is, on August 1st, right, if you don't come to me, that's how much I'm going to charge you, because I'm not able to discuss with you. But then again, how could you deal with 190 countries, technically speaking, everyone, in 90 days? That was a story that you were told before you went to sleep. That was a story that you were told to make you believe that you understood what was going on. That was a story that you thought you understood, but that's not what's happening. What's happening right now is you're going to be charged, and you're going to be charged big time. Not you, they. But you don't care because you're making the money anyway. So what's the difference, right? Let's keep making that money. Let's keep bringing it in. So to that end, it's working. The thing is, what you don't see right now is that inflation is coming up slowly. Take a look at trueflation. And well, then that's bad, right? Because the Fed is going to raise the rates, right? Because the inflation is coming up. No, because forget about this Fed. You need to worry about the next Fed. And the next Fed is coming next year. And the next Fed is the one that Trump is going to hire. And that next Fed is going to be lowering the rates. You could bet that the US is going to do that. You could bet that the Fed is going to lower the rates. So the market is, because the US market, the money needs to find a home, right? Always finding a home. So always going up, unless there's a surprise and then it goes down. That's the secret of the market. The point is, so therefore, for you to make money, right, you need to make sure you know when the next bad thing is going to happen. And this is what this channel is about. The Black Swan channel really is not about telling you news, but the Black Swan channel is about telling you the risk that are inherent into the system. The risk, because if you're looking for the next NVIDIA all the time, that's not how you make money. You don't make money by, and I'll tell you why you don't make money, okay? Because if you're a portfolio manager, and you get NVIDIA and you get Amazon, and you're right, and it's working, what happens? Well, the share of NVIDIA is going to grow. You know, haven't they told you, wow, if I bought Amazon at the beginning and I put like $1,000, I would have $16 million today. True. So then if you have Amazon in your portfolio, if your portfolio is like this, Amazon's share in the portfolio is going to keep growing and growing and growing. And what are you going to do? You're going to sit there and wait? No, if you're a portfolio manager in real life, you would not be allowed to have such a huge position in your books. You would not be allowed to have that. You will be forced to sell. But if you are Taleb Nassim and working at the Universa, and this is 2020, and you know that there's a black swan around the corner called COVID, then you put positions, right? Because what they're worried about, and you should be worried as well, is they are worried about the fact that you need to protect what you have. You need to protect what you have, because if you lose what you have, then you got to work twice as hard to make it back. If you go from $50 to $100, right, and then back to 50, for you to go back up to 100, going from 100 to 50, you're losing 50% of your money. But for you to go from 50 to 100, you need to double your money. It's a lot harder to do it. Okay, so therefore, what you need to start focusing on, and this is kind of the idea of this channel, don't focus on the good things, right? Don't focus on the money that I need to make. No, focus on the things that could happen, right? The things that could happen that could hurt you in the stock market and in the economy. But you will notice that they will not tell you that. Case in point, take a look at the Wall Street Journal, take a look at Bloomberg, take a look at CNBC. How often do they tell you these are the risks in the system? Show me the risk. Show me the risk. Where is the risk? What they do show you is the returns, they show how much money you could make in the stock market, they show you the return of Tesla and Nvidia and all that, but they don't tell you where the risk is. You know why they're not telling you about the risk and how to calculate it and show it to you? Because you wouldn't understand it and you would not listen to them and you would tune out. And if you're tuning out, then they don't make it. Okay. So there's a natural bias towards information that is really aimed not to help you, but to please you, to make you comfortable, to keep you listening, because at the end of the day, all they want is for you to listen to what they have to say. But frankly, you have no influence on anything. What do you think? Do you really think? The only thing that you can do is what you could do for yourself and for your portfolio. That you have an impact on. The rest, the bill was going to sign regardless. Elon Musk is going to do what he's going to do regardless. Okay, Trump is going to charge his people 50% if he wants to. There's nothing you could do. No, we can do something. No one cares. Everyone cares about what I have to say. And the reason that people cares about what I have to say is because people don't understand it. People are focused on making money instead of being focused on understanding the risk. No one wants to understand risk because it's too depressing. It's not good. But that's how you make money, people, because if you know where you're going to lose your job, that's what you want to know. Right now, I will tell you, because of those tariffs, if you're in an industry that is dealing with a lot of international, let's say you're a wine importer, right? You're boxing those wines for the French companies, be careful, because they are going to charge Europe, right now they're getting 10%, but they may charge them as much as 50%. That's going to have a huge impact. That's going to have a huge impact at some point, okay? Go listen to CNN and go listen to Fox and all these things. That's fine. I mean, it's entertaining. Plus, they're going all year. I mean, think about it, right? How can you keep going 24/7? How can you keep talking for 24/7? What you have to come up with things to say, right? Because the news in the past, there were news, and they were done, and then we move on. I mean, and then we have a movie or whatever. No, I'm going to give news every day, 24/7. So I have to say something. So the next time you hear someone telling you advice about a stock or a portfolio, what you want to do is that you want to ask them, if you can, what is your ability to make money in the stock market? They never tell you that. And you know why they don't tell you that? Because most portfolio managers, and I know I work with them, most portfolio managers do not beat the market. Why not? I told you. Subscribe to this channel so I could tell you what's going to happen next. Why is it that portfolio managers do not beat the market? Because it's very difficult. Not so much because they're not picking the right stock, right? Think of it this way. If you had picked on Nvidia when it was going better and better and better, and it was going up and up and up, it's taking a larger and larger share of your portfolio. Therefore, your volatility, if you understand what that is, which is the probability it's going to go up and down, it's going to expand and expand. And before you know it, you have $1 billion portfolio, 900 million is made out of Nvidia. You're not going to sell. You're going to keep all of it. You're going to keep it riding. You would not be allowed to do that. They wouldn't allow you. They wouldn't allow you because it's too risky. Now, of course, if you believe Warren Buffett, that basically says that risk is good, right? Warren Buffett, and that's how he made money, right, is because he says don't diversify so much. Diversification is like diversification. Only buy what you know, what you need. And he was able to do that because he owned the place, and he said, you know what, I'm only going to buy Bank of America, I'm going to buy American Express, right? His insurance company, very boring stuff, but he understood it. He doesn't have 500 stocks. He only has a few. That's why he makes a lot of money. While the other portfolio managers, unfortunately, can't do it. How does that impact you? Well, the reason it impacts you is because if you invest in the stock market, what does that mean? You have a job in a 401k, your money is going to go into funds, right? You don't get to invest with Warren Buffett. You got to go in Fidelity, right? And these guys naturally they can't own 90% of Nvidia, so most of the time it's going to be very difficult to have a stock, to have a portfolio that beat the stock market. So what you need to do is therefore then you should buy funds that mimic the market, because you're probably not going to beat it. Unless right now what you can do, because there's an opportunity in small company stocks, small caps, less than 2 billion in market cap, then you buy those funds, then you get involved at that level. That's what you should do. That, I think, is where the opportunity is. And the more you buy of these, because right now the stocks are very small, the stocks are very low. So that is what I should do. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel. I will be back tomorrow and the day after to talk more about the topics such as, the Trump topic and the stock market, what's going on. I want to give you the news that you need. I want to explain to you really what is going on, because no one else can, because they don't have the structure, the ability, and the freedom to tell you, what's going on. So I will see you tomorrow, the day after. And don't forget, at lunch at 12 o'clock, I also post, my 30-second or minute video to let you know what's going on. And I'll see you soon.